Hi everyone, I'm Joel Moscosa, an English major student, and today let's know more about the elements of poetry. And I'm going to show you my notes. I will use this as my guide while discussing this topic. So prior to the discussion of the elements of poetry, let's define first what poetry is. Poetry is a form of literary writing that formulates a concentrated, imaginative awareness of experience or experiences. In poetry, we can know and we can feel the feelings and the emotions that the author or the poet wants us to feel. So always remember that there are two types of poetry, the lyric and the narrative. So moving on to the elements of poetry, there are three important elements. So remember these three important elements: the sound, the sense, and the structure. In sound, we have the rhyme and the rhythm. The rhyme repeats similar or corresponding sounds in apparent scheme or in some apparent scheme. And the rhythm is the result of systematically stressing or accenting words and syllables attained through patterns in the turnings, pacing, repetition of the elements. So we have this alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Alliteration that is a repetition of for effect of initial vowels or consonants. Assonance, a partial change in which the stressed vowels sounds like or alike, but the consonant sounds are unlike. And the onomatopoeia, it is the imitation of the natural sound, like the sound of the animals, the sound of the wind, like that. Buzz, mews, like that, onomatopoeia. So the second important element is the sense that is revealed through words and images and symbols in the opus. So always remember this diction. It refers to the connotative and denotative meanings, images and sense impressions that appeal to our senses, sounds, texture, feel, odors, and taste. So third one is the figure of speech. It is about the creativity of the poet in expressing his thoughts to impress, of course, the readers. It's something that would wow the audience. So if you read a poem and you say, wow, it's very amazing how creative the author is in expressing his thoughts through figures of speech, and there is a lot of figures of speech: oxymoron, pun, metaphor, simile, hyperbole, irony, and many more. Chiasmus, antithesis, understatement, and a lot of figures of speech we can select. And if we are fond of, using words, playing with words, that's good. And we have also the tone, which reveals the attitude towards the subjects. So in the tone, we can know if the emotion is cheerful, if it's romantic, if it's serious, anxious, or angry. So we should also identify what is the tone in the poem so that we can relate to what should be the emotion there. So we can process what is the emotions and the feelings that the author really wants us to feel. So we have a connection with the sense of impression and with the tone. The third one, important element, is the structure. And in the structure, this refers to the arrangement of words in lines to fit together and the organization of the parts to form a whole. So we have the word order, the ellipses, and the punctuation. This is very important. So now let's use an example of poem to clearly or have a deeper understanding about the elements of poetry. So in my next video, I will be using a poem. So stay tuned.